Hello, everybody. Today I have another story, and let's start reading. The day I was crying in an Uber. The day I was crying inside an Uber, I had had it all. I mean, enough of it. I broke down. I just broke down and started wailing at 10 a.m. You know, I always say it here. Venturing in a business is one huge risk that I took. I actually everyone who venture in business takes a risk. It could go either way. The business might peak immediately or it might take a nose dive before it starts raising again. For my case, it took a nosedive, a fast and furious nosedive that got me sinking into depression. You know, in business, not all, the entrepreneur is sometimes forced to take a loan from several quarters to keep the ball rolling. I wasn't an exception. I took loans from point A, B, C, and D. I hope I was hopeful that things would look up and I would settle these loans as agreed. But as days went, I realized things were getting thick. However, I was in touch with all those people I was owing money. I was updating them each and every time as required, and at one point did I ever dodge any of them. I used to forward to them any little cash I got. If anything, I swear to God I put them before my own needs. Only that my landlady isn't on Facebook. Maybe she would come here and tell you what kind of a year we had last year. I salute her because she understood my situations as at no point did she even throw tantrums. God bless her. My own bills came last. After I had a last settled bill of a piece of the loan, I had I had on one of the business. All I wanted was my business to stabilize. But as fate would have it, I stepped on other people's toes, and they could hear none of my stories. I didn't blame them though. It was within their rights to feel as they felt. Probably I would have done the same if I were in their shoes.
I just don't know. So one by one, I started receiving threatening calls and texts from one of them. Generally, I'm all
A very fearful human. I get scared and disoriented very easily. I just never show it but I get wrecked within a blink of an eye. I slowly started sinking into depression. I however never let anyone realize that I was sinking into depression. I I always put on a brave face and before everyone but everyone started crying myself to deep that night. I always put a brave face when I'm out there. That night I started sleeping for at least 2 hours only. Insomnia had checked in. I would be a total wreck at at night, but a star during the day. Bright, bring enough to shine your body. Yes, the society expected only laughter from me. So I had to give the society what it wanted. I mean, who would have believed me if I said I was drowning? Maybe no one, maybe someone. However, thank God for a few people who read in between the lines just here and reached out. Strangers I have never ever met. I mean, some people here just reach out on their own without me approaching them and help. Maybe those are are people who have been in such situations such once, or and I knew what it and they knew what it looked like. One morning, one person I owed money called and yelled at me like no one's business. The person went ahead and sent an humiliating text after the call. Like, I told you, I'm a very weak human. Don't let all the strength portray online fool you. Like I told you, I'm a very weak human. That morning around 10, I broke down. I just started crying uncontrollably. I did not want to stay in the house because I didn't want my daughter to see me crying. So I requested for an Uber and left to nowhere. I remember the Uber driver asked my destination. I told him, take me anywhere. I said this while crying, although I kept thinking about the number of people depending on me, the bills, threat. Hey, I remember the first thing the driver asked me when he saw me, are you married? Did your husband do anything? Do something? He was shaken by the way I was for a moment, almost cancelled the trip. But I assure it was I was okay, and it had nothing to do with domestic violence. He was such a good listener, by the way. He engaged me, and before we knew it, we were taking more and more. The more I talked, the better I was. We just hit the road and drove around Nairobi with no particular destination. Such a relief. I had 10K between me and poverty, and the bills and pay and unpaid day plus loans were total around 8K, 80K. There were those on my neck, buying on my blood. I swear that there was nothing as scary as reading a threat text or receiving a text call. I have never read some of those texts to date. I would start reading them, and once I realized it was a threat, I would stop and go to the next. I promised myself that I will read all those texts when I regain my stability. I have never gathered the strength to read them. To date, my phone ringtone makes my heart skip a beat. I threw my hand in the air and it bothered the driver, and we went round and round Nairobi with this money. We even stopped over and had pizza on the way. Pizza in, and both driver and we ate and to our full, then proceed with our rounds. What was I supposed to do honestly? Eat what you have, then get back on your feet and look for the whole amount in full tummy. Underline full tummy. You don't want to be arrested on an empty stomach. Trust me. We went around and around Nairobi until 4 p.m. when he dropped me back home. He only charged me half of the amount and told me he would pay for the rest from his own pocket. Bless him. I'm not yet fully back on my feet, but I am definitely in a better position. At least I can now sleep throughout the night. I thank all the strangers who turned out to be family that helped me pick up. Those that read through the post here, criticized my photos and realized all wasn't well, then reached out. Moral of the story: sometimes in life we need people who can see through strong people and detect the cry in them. Not everyone walking around laughing is actually laughing. That laughter is to deceive you. Thank you for watching. Bye.